The college football season isn't here just yet, but today is the closest we've been. With the season starting in just a couple of weeks, the AP poll has officially dropped. We now know which 25 teams are going to be ranked when the season kicks off later this month. As usual, the AP poll means absolutely nothing, and these rankings are likely going to look really bad at the end of the season. Still, it's always fun to take a look at them and critique them every year. Before we dive into the AP poll, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Also, I've been kinda sick for a couple of days, so in case I don't sound 100%, that's why. But I had to react to this AP poll the second it dropped. Also, this is going to be my first time looking at it, so all the reactions you get, well, those are my reactions upon looking at this for the very first time. Alright, and to no surprise, Georgia comes in at number 1. I've talked about them numerous times this offseason, but Georgia, in my opinion, is the best team in all of college football, and that's the team that I currently have winning the national championship this season. Looking at 2 through 5, no big surprises here. I actually am a little bit surprised to see Oregon this high at number 3. I definitely think the Ducks are going to be a solid team this year, but seeing them begin the season at number 3, I guess that actually is a little bit of surprise. Ohio State, I think they belong there at 2. Although I'm not as high on Ohio State as a lot of people, I got no issue with them being right there. Texas coming in at number 4, that makes a lot of sense considering they were a playoff team last year. They almost made it to the national championship game. They are returning a lot of talent. But I do think them moving to the SEC, things are going to be pretty difficult for the Longhorns this year. I got no problem with them starting the season at number 4, but if I were to guess, I think that's going to be the highest they get at any point in 2024. Ole Miss coming in at number 6, that is a bit of a shock. I know they're like consistently one of the 10 to 12 best teams in college football every year, but they always seem to kind of fall apart near the end, so seeing them at number 6, that is a bit of a surprise. I don't know when the last time Ole Miss began the season ranked that high was. It's probably been a while. Okay, so I actually just looked it up, and the last time Ole Miss began the season ranked this high came all the way back in 1970 when they were ranked number 5 to start the year in the AP poll. So this is like uncharted waters for Ole Miss fans, at least going back to the early 70s. Looking at the rankings now 7 through 10, it actually is pretty remarkable seeing Michigan all the way down at number 9, you know, considering they just won the national championship, but they did lose a lot of talent this offseason, and they also lost their head coach, so this definitely isn't going to be the same Michigan team we saw last year, but I don't know, dropping them all the way down to 9, that is a bit of a stretch. Notre Dame at 7, I got no problem with. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. Penn State, though, at number 8. Penn State's like what I mentioned with Ole Miss, where they're always a really good team, but near the end of the season, they always kind of struggle. I don't think this is the 8th best team in all of college football. Who knows, maybe they'll surprise me, maybe they'll make it to the Big Ten title this year, but I just don't think that Penn State is worthy of being a top 8 team in the country. Florida State being all the way down to 10, that's a bit of a surprise as well. I get that this isn't exactly the same team they had last year, but I really do like the addition of DJ Uiagalelei. I do think this Florida State team is really solid, so yeah, seeing them at 10, that does seem a bit low. Missouri at number 11 seems kind of low as well. I'm really high on the Tigers this year. I think they have a chance to be a surprise team in the SEC. I could see why voters might not want to put them inside the top 10 just because this team hasn't really proved it over the last couple of years, but I'll be surprised if Missouri is competing for a playoff spot later this year. With Utah coming in at number 12, they are the highest ranked Big 12 team. Now with Utah moving to the Big 12, it's going to be interesting to see how they look in a brand new conference. Last year was a quiet down year for Utah, so it might be a bit of a surprise seeing them as high as number 12, but we have to remember this has been a really good team the last 5 to 10 years, so I definitely think they have a chance at being the best team in the Big 12 this year. We'll go down and we'll look at the teams ranked 13 through 17, and overall, no real surprise here. I mean, I think LSU, Clemson, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State, I think all those teams are going to be really solid in 2024. I'm interested to see how Clemson looks this year because this has been a team that was historically one of the better teams we saw in the late 2010s, but ever since then, they just haven't quite been able to get back to that point. Are they going to be able to get back there in 2024? I'm not certain, but the fact that they start the season ranked number 14, that shows that a lot of voters are still really high on this Clemson team. Oklahoma, like I mentioned with Texas, I'm not so certain how their move to the SEC is going to go. Could they mess around and win 9 to 10 games? They certainly can, but adding them to that amazing conference that the SEC is, I just have a tough time seeing Oklahoma being a legitimate threat, at least this season. Oklahoma State is just one spot behind their old rival, and I think Oklahoma State also has a chance at being one of the best teams in the Big 12 this season. Now, according to this poll, they're predicting that Oklahoma State is going to be the second best team in the Big 12, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they win the conference this year. Alright, scrolling down from 18 through 21, we have a couple more Big 12 teams. I think Kansas State is right where they belong at number 18. I hate saying this, I hate admitting this, but I've said this numerous times this offseason. I am really high on this Arizona team this year. I think they are way too low at number 21. I think they're going to be a really good team this season, and as of right now, they are my current pick to win the Big 12 this year. Again, as an Arizona State fan, it pains me to say it, but that just goes to show how high I am on the Wildcats. At 19 and 20, you have the two teams that are always right around this spot that by week 3 are going to be nowhere near the top 25. You have Miami coming in at number 19, you have Texas A&M coming in at number 20. They deserve to be hyped up every year because on paper, these are some of the better teams in all of college football when it comes to the build of the rosters. But as we've seen, the build of the rosters means absolutely nothing, and you have to do it on the field and win games, something that Miami and Texas A&M have been very underwhelming in these last couple of years. So shout out to these two teams for making it into the top 25 to begin the year, but like I said, if they're still ranked by week 3 or week 4, I will be genuinely shocked. Alright, we're going to close out this top 25. Kansas begins the season ranked number 22. This is the first time Kansas has been ranked to begin a season since 2009. I recently talked about this in one of my hot take videos, but if Jalen Daniels is healthy this season for the Jayhawks, they're going to be a really good team. If he's not healthy, it's going to be a rough year. USC comes in ranked number 23. I get it, it's ranked number 23, you're barely cracking the top 25, but I do not think USC is going to be good at all this season. They were very underwhelming last year, and now you add them to the Big Ten, and if you take a look at that schedule, I just don't see it. So I get it, it's the preseason top 25, but I think USC is going to be out of this top 25 probably as early as week 1. The top 25 wraps up with NC State and Iowa. I got no problem with this. NC State was a really good team last year in the ACC, and Iowa, they have one of the best defenses in all of college football. Their offense is probably one of the worst, but if they're able to average just, 21 points a game this year, they're going to be a really good team. So overall, I got no problem with this top 25 closing out with these teams. When looking at the others receiving votes, it looks like Louisville and Virginia Tech were the two closest teams, with Louisville receiving the most votes. Now, the craziest part is when you look at these others receiving votes, it's Washington coming in with only 23 points. That has them as the number 32 team in all of college football. Now, I get it, this is a team that did lose a lot of talent last year, but it's pretty crazy seeing a team that just was in the national championship not even being ranked the next year. Again, they're moving to the Big Ten, they lost a lot of talent, but that's quite the drop off seeing them ranked all the way down at 32. Also, it's funny seeing Colorado get one vote here. I'm not exactly certain who's the one that gave him a vote, but whoever it is, revoke their pass immediately. But overall, looking at this AP poll from top to bottom, I have no real complaints with it whatsoever. Doing one final glance at it, I do think Penn State is a little high being ranked at number 8. I think Florida State and Missouri are a little low at 10 and 11. I think Clemson is a little high at 14. I think Oklahoma is a little high at 16. I think Miami and Texas A&M are way too high at 19 and 20. I think Arizona is way too low at 21, and I think USC has no business being inside this top 25. But those are my quick reactions and thoughts to this AP top 25. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Which team do you think is ranked way too high, and which team is ranked way too low? Also, was there a team that didn't crack the top 25 that should have been in there? Whoever it is, and whatever your thoughts are on this first AP Top 25 poll, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. The college football season is just a couple weeks away, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.